Hello, guys. This is Into Crypto Space, and we're going to be talking about VVS's next meme coin offering, Damoon. So the reason I'm covering this is because this is pretty much a share play. Regardless if you're just looking for a 2x or a safe play, this is generally right up on that category. Being launched by VVS, which is in close cahoots, if not two of the same, with Crypto.com. With that being said, we do have past examples at this point where we have two other examples, two other projects that were launched. So let's just see what the strategy should be and what to expect in the next couple upcoming days. Stay tuned. Quite remarkable, this project. I think the pre-sale, there was over $3 million put into it. I don't remember the extent of it all, as I was working yesterday into this morning. But looking at the chart, it starts off once liquidity is injected at 12.26 million. And that's market cap, right? So market cap is that. Liquidity, money actually in the project, is 9 million as of right now, which is pretty great. What I'm looking to do, I participated slightly. I had a plan where I put a little chunk into it, and I sold on the top because I'll show you the other charts how what tends to happen. I could get wrecked, but I'm looking to re-enter around as close, essentially as close it is in pre-sale. It's a shame that I didn't see it here because I would have just put everything in at this point. But I am looking for this to drop because I want to get in at a secure spot for when it gets listed on the Crypto.com exchange. And at that bare minimum, you're looking for at least a 2x potential, if not a 3x, if you're lucky, if there's enough hype. All right, into crypto space. Well, why would you sell at a high? Wouldn't it go higher? Well, let's look at those other charts, right? The other ones I had mentioned. So one of them, let's go to the first one, right? We're talking about CROB. This launched, I believe, 3 weeks, a month ago. It's crazy. I know all of you can attest. 2 weeks in the DeFi crypto space, it literally feels like 3 months. But this actually launched on the 3rd of April. So about a month and 2 weeks ago, okay? This was the first token launched by VVS, where nobody really knew kind of like what was going to happen, what to be expected of, right? So this is the first token, right? So it gets set up. It's put at 24.65 million market cap from the liquidity injection. I can't remember what it was at the time, but then it pushes up to 38 mil, which is pretty significant, right? All of a sudden, it starts to drop. Sell-offs. I remember seeing this. I thought, at the time, I didn't know about the Crypto.com association, and I was like, "What the hell? Six-figure buys, six-figure sells. I don't know what's going on." And at the end of the day, the liquidity was so high that it was barely doing anything. But this big candle was just a series of like six-figure sells. So eventually, over the next couple of days, it ended up selling off down under pre-sale value, 22.89, and then a couple days later goes right into Crypto.com. Hey, this thing shoots a fat 2x, almost 3x from this all-time low. Well, at the time, recent all-time low. So that's one project. And then it continues downside. But there's potential here, right? There's potential to make that flip as soon as it gets onto Crypto.com. And that's what I'm looking for. This is a safe bet for more or less. All the data is showing that you can make that potential 2x, 3x. But let's move on to the next project. All right, so this is DIP. So DIP, the only thing that was a little different with DIP is that it was kind of hindered with Crow and Knife. And not necessarily hindered, I guess kind of delayed, because when it launched, Crow and Knife was actually listed on Crypto.com. So therefore, a lot of money that would have been naturally in this project rotated right to Crow and Knife because that was hyped up. Especially for, I think within that 12-hour period with Crow and Knife, after the sell-off from a 56 million market cap, it went down to, I think, 26 or 32. Maybe it was 32. And then skyrocketed later that night to 116 million, which is crazy. But nevertheless, right, launches, sells off, goes underneath pre-sale value, right? This is cheaper than pre-sale value. Guys, that's crazy. And then, oops. I apologize. So this goes underneath pre-sale value, and then it gets listed 4 days later, and from this value, right? If you planned accordingly, come on, let's get back to it. So it was at a low at 7.38 million and went up to 34 million, guys. That's almost a 5x. Is that a 5x? That is a 5x. That is just under a 5x. Imagine that. And again, this is on the safer play. You know it's going to happen. It's a matter of when, not a matter of if. It's going to happen. So if I were to recommend anything, and again, not financial advice, do your own research, of course. Use this as entertainment purposes, but look for an easy position. Look for an easy position on this chart. You know, it's 13.8. I'm looking for anything in the 12 region. And if it gets under 12, that's a steal. That is a steal. And I don't think it's going to happen today because everybody's still kind of like hypey, you know? But the longer this goes without the listing, people are going to think, wait. What if this one's different? What if this one's different? And you need FOMO to, you need fear to kick in to really get in on those favorable positions where when FOMO starts to happen, you already set yourself up with a steal of a bag. So my plan is when it gets low enough, I'm going to buy into it and I'm going to set an LP pool, right? Because LP pools, even though you need to do your research on impermanent loss, I'm comfortable enough where I know the moon is going to have a fat volume chart for at least up until Crypto.com listing, which is going to be within a week or so. And when it's on Crypto.com, it's going to skyrocket well over 10, 15 million in volume. And then even if it's just for a couple of days, you're making all those extra TXN values. All those fees, just think of it as free money. See, that's a fat buy. What this might do, it's going to have a little bit of FOMO rush back up, and then it's going to sell off. You know, so you want to emotionally check yourself before. You want to make sure that you strategize accordingly, have a plan. But again, don't use this as financial advice, just as entertainment purposes. I'm just here to give you my opinion, what I think, and that's it. So looking at it, right? So what's different between the three of these? Well, similarities, they're all from VVS. Similarities, 2 out of 3 within the first week has been listed on Crypto.com. We're waiting on Damoon to confirm that. And what this ends up doing in the long term, that every other token that gets listed on VVS, it's going to get fatter and fatter and fatter in terms of liquidity and pre-sale value because everybody's going to be familiar and comfortable and safe with it, you know? And then these big sell-offs is going to happen, and then people are going to do exactly what I'm doing, strategizing on the re-entry of a lower price, and just get in. Just get in. Right? I could get wrecked where, you know, I sold, I think, right around here. Right around here. I woke up and I was like, what the hell? It's already been launched. I always miss a launch. Who can relate? Who can relate? But regardless, I could get wrecked. It could skyrocket right now. Everybody's knowing it's going to go up, you know, regardless of Crypto.com, you know, so, you know, I could be fumbling, but I want a better position. So I'll leave it at that. But like I said, in terms of the project, it is a little different. Kind of cool, right? Kind of cool. So VVS, top DEX of Cronos, right? It works in cahoots with Crypto.com as well. So it has a wicked cool incentive. So to get to the moon, we need to burn for rocket fuel. So every time a VVS whitelisted meme token on Chronos reaches over 10 million market cap or 3 million in daily trading volume, guys, they burn 1% of the total supply, up to 20% of the burn reserves. That is a really good incentive. That is really cool. Meaning the longer you hold this, and naturally you want to encourage other projects that are whitelisted to get to these milestones, guys, 1% is getting burned every time. That is a really great incentive. I actually really enjoy that. You know, regardless if you believe in this project, as long as you believe in Chronos, you might as well. If you believe in any of these other projects, it makes sense to kind of get in here because you're kind of incentivizing your own. Like it's like me being in a project and doing YouTube videos. Like I'm double downing on it. Like you might as well assist. You might as well have, you know, the positivity. You might as well have the incentive to do so. You know, and I really enjoy that. So I really like that the team went forward with that, as the first two feel like they're absolutely doing nothing for the ecosystem. So even though this community is going to be more so artificial, this creates a lot of community engagement from outside of the project. Even on a standpoint, let's say you know, you hit 3 mil volume as a project, you can preach out to this community, this project, VVS. At the end of the day, they are still the top DEX, and you can have free social engagement. So this is going to be like, oh, when the moon burn, you know, oh, we're doing so good, this project's doing great, like, you know. So you're really at all times preaching to the community of the moon, because the moment you're skyrocketing, you're helping their supply, you're helping their bag. It's, I don't know, like I said, pretty cool. Well, you know, comment below, tell me what you think. At the end of the day, I'd like to speak about how this will help entirely the Chronos ecosystem. At the end of the day, we wait a couple of days after the listing. That's free money from VVS Crypto.coms themselves injecting into the Chronos ecosystem, right? Because a lot of the users before this hits Crypto.com, all the users in this project are those of the Chronos chain. Hashtag CrowFam, right? So what ends up happening is that I'm wicked bullish on this. Even if you don't want the project, it's okay. It's okay. The cool thing about it is that once it gets listed and all that money starts to rotate out, people are selling, it gets rotated and gets back brought into the ecosystem. And all these top 10, guaranteed, by next week, all these tokens, they're looking good. They're looking a lot better. Their volume and the liquidity is going to be so much higher, because the cool thing about helping the ecosystem is that when you do so, the individuals of that ecosystem rotate it back in, and they start to look for the next play. So now you have thousands of people, hundreds of people injecting, you know, $100 bags, $1,000 bags, and some of them 5-digit bags, really trying to set up a position on the next play. So it is what it is. This looks really red. This looks bad. But you got to think this project, with everything, the speculation, the history, the facts, you know, what ends up happening is that this starts to leach and drain out of all these other projects right into the moon. Number one, volume and liquidity. It's number one. So what ends up happening is that this will stay top dog. This will stay draining everything else up until maybe day 1, day 2, day 3 at most of the Crypto.com listing. So then you want to make sure to try to get into these positions, especially the ones you're more favorable on, early. Because what ends up happening is that if you're too late, you're going to be buying in after the big whales get in, already have this, their position secured. And actually, it'd be smart if you had a little small bag. Start getting into these now. Because the moment that it's on Crypto.com, there's going to be people, there's going to be bots, there's going to be people that, you know, stay home. They have the time to do so. They will rotate in way before people like you and I. And that's okay. But take advantage of that, right? I'm working. I work all week. I work all weekend. I work doubles at the restaurant. There's no way, right? So what I would do today is that I would set up a couple of bags that I'm comfortable with. But the thing is, I already have 5 or 7 plays all set up on liquidity pairs. So if I wanted to, if it's favorable, I'll see if there's better positions on some of these that I want to get in on. Well, double down. That's when I'll double down. And then by the time it's the weekend, by the time it's next week and the Crypto.com listening's happening, and then there's millions in volume pouring into these other projects, I already set up my bag. I already have the liquidity pair. So I'm making money on those transaction fees as well. So you got to play accordingly. Have a strategy, guys, because this is the time to make money. This is the time to secure a position. So again, guys, thank you so much for stopping through. Appreciate the community so much. Appreciate the support. Twitter, YouTube, liking, subbing. It does so much. I hope I can continue doing what I do. I enjoy very much doing that. And I hope these videos are just informative for you guys. If you want me to cover other projects, I try to stay away from like the newest launch degen, because the last thing I want is for people to get rugged. The last thing I want is for people to lose money. And that's why you see, and thank God, I've been hugely validated for the time being. Kerwood Knife, Mouse and Pasta, and Mary, obviously, it's already kind of made itself a staple. So these projects I'm very confident in. If you would like me to kind of reach out and get these other projects going, I'm very hesitant, but that's what you guys want. Make sure you comment below. Tell me about the project you want me to cover. Again, the only reason I covered Damoon is because historically we have the facts. We know what's going to happen generally, and it's by VVS. Pretty secure on that behalf. And if anyone has a chance to make money, I want to try to help with that if possible. But thank you again, guys. Into Crypto Space. Until next time.